The future of video games will be determined by the knowledge of how many ice cubes you're holding in your hand. I shaved my neck for this, just so I could sit here and not look like a stereotype, even though I'm still a white guy with a beard complaining about video games on the internet. Nintendo Switch, where do I even start with you? I'm still trying to wake up from this fever dream, staying up till 2 in the morning last night to get in a pre-order. So yes, I did pre-order it, but take that with a grain of salt as I run down all the stuff that happened in the last day or so and give you my official Nintendo Switch reactions! Reaction number 1. Did this event really need to be live 11 p.m. on the East Coast going till midnight with what they announced? No. I will give them credit for starting with the 2 most important parts of information. The date and the price. March 3rd, $300. Why is it $300? We'll get to that in a second. But it's yet another company who wants to have that visual price parity, even though that's not how exchange rates work. So I'm not sure. Is the US getting screwed here, or is Japan getting screwed here? We know Europe's getting screwed. But 290-something thousand yen is like $250 because of the exchange rate. So either it should have been cheaper here, or it should have been more expensive in Japan. In any event, it's launching worldwide on the same day, so I will give them a hearty thumbs up on that. And they are finally joining the 21st century. This system is region free, and I will give them a huge thumbs up on that. And then things start to go a little bit downhill. As always, Nintendo is gonna Nintendo. Regardless of what the rest of the market does, Nintendo will always march to the beat of their own drummer, for better or for worse, and with the Wii U the past 4 years, it's been worse. Reaction number 2. They're introducing paid online services. Nintendo, who has never been known for having a quality internet online multiplayer experience or meaningful account system, is launching a paid online service. It will have a trial at launch and then be further launched completely this fall. Now, for me personally, I don't play that many games online. Even though I already subscribe to Xbox Live and PSN every year for $60, but usually cheaper because you can get them online, some deals, whatever. A service that I mostly don't use for the intended purpose, but I do appreciate cloud saves, and I do appreciate the PS Plus and the games with gold. So I'm not going to jump down Nintendo's throat just yet because they have not announced what the pricing will be for this Nintendo Switch online service. And if they price it appropriately, say $20 for a year, $15 for a year, in that range, then perhaps it is more forgivable. But if they go the same route as Xbox and PS4, and it retails for $50 or $60 a year, they are out of their ever-loving minds. But again, Nintendo is gonna Nintendo. And you might ask, what else do you get for this service besides the ability to play games online multiplayer? Well, much like PS Plus, much like Games with Gold, you get a free game. And it's an NES or SNES game that they've added online multiplayer to. But unlike PS Plus, unlike Games with Gold, even though you're continually subscribing, that game for that month is just that month. And if you want to play it past that, cough up the cash for these 30-year-old ROMs that you've probably already bought 3 times. And that's supposed to compete with Rocket League? That's supposed to compete with games like Outlast? Sunset Overdrive? Look, the classics are the classics, and sure, adding online multiplayer to a game like the original Super Mario Kart is cool, but they're still 30-year-old ROMs they already charged you $5 or $10 a pop for at least 3 times. And because Nintendo has no idea how to make an account system, guess what? You gotta buy them again. I mean, I won't, but what the hell? Reaction number 3. The hardware. Now, according to Nintendo, the battery life will be on average between 2.5 to 6 hours, depending on the game you're playing, obviously how bright the screen is, whether or not you have on the Wi-Fi, etc., etc. So honestly, expect 3 hours. If you get any more than that, feel blessed. It does have a touchscreen, so at least if they bring over a newer version of Super Mario Maker, one of the best games on the Wii U, then that will make sense. Storage space. Storage space. You're launching a game system, a game console, in 2017 with 32 gigs of onboard storage space. And granted, you have the option to use an SD card, you have the option to use an external hard drive, but you're charging $300 for a system with 32 gigs of drive space. Ice cubes, though. Why would I ever want to buy anything digitally if I don't even know if your account system is going to tie my games to the account? Because it sure as hell didn't on the Wii U, and it sure as hell didn't on the 3DS. But hardware. Now here was the big surprise of this conference, was the further explanation of the Joy-Cons and the Ice Cubes and this controller nonsense. Now the Ice Cube thing is called High Definition Rumble. And to me that means you just added in more servos and more motors and made it more fine-tuned, much like the triggers in the Xbox One controller. And that's cool, that's fine, but the pricing on the accessories is out of control. If you want to buy another pair of Joy-Cons, it's $80. If you want to buy a Joy-Con by itself, it's $50. If you want to buy a pair of Joy-Cons and the part in the middle they connect to like what you get in the box, that's another $30. So a full controller is $110. $110 to count Ice Cubes. You're trying to market this as a local multiplayer machine for friends and family, and buying a full controller is $110? Are you out of your mind? But above and beyond that, the Pro Controller. You know, a standard-looking video game controller, much like with the Wii U, the Pro Controller, which I think I paid $40 or $50 for, on the Switch, is $70. I don't need your HD rumble tax in a Pro Controller. I don't need to feel the Ice Cubes in this controller to play Zelda or whatever else. $70 for a Pro Controller is insane. Reaction number 4. Okay. That was the hardware. And regardless of what I think about hardware, we all know that I can't stop buying video game consoles. I have at least 10 pieces of Nintendo hardware in this room right now, so that buying it was a foregone conclusion, but hardware is only half of the equation, because certainly software is why you want to buy the hardware. So the software portion of this press event. We have a first-party Nintendo game at launch called 1-2 Switch. And this is a local party game that you have each player having half of a Joy-Con, and mostly involves not looking at the TV screen with the game, but more with the other player. And Nintendo seemed very proud that this innovation had never been done before. Never been done before. Using motion controllers to not look at the screen to play your video game has never been done before. Anyhow, that is one of the 2 games out from Nintendo at launch. Next up, they showed a boxing game called ARMS. So we have a boxing game that uses these Joy-Cons, which, by the way, have gyros. And by the way, motion controls are back, you guys. That's the last time Nintendo actually sold a significant amount of consoles, was when they used motion controls. And man, if only they could sell that many consoles again, huh? So basically, it's Wii Sports Boxing on steroids. And how did they not use the Punch-Out license for this? You guys own Punch-Out. But never mind that, there's a new Mario game. Super Mario Odyssey. Mario in the real world, in Brooklyn. That makes the movie canon, I guess? That makes the cartoon canon? I don't know. It is a big bunch of worlds, much like Super Mario 64 and Sunshine, and that's awesome. What's not awesome is it's not going to be a launch game. It's coming out in the holiday season. His hat has eyes, and you can fling his hat. They're making another Xenoblade game that I will probably never play, because those games are like 100 hours. I just don't have the time, but I understand they are of a very high quality. Fire Emblem Warriors. Press the X button a lot. I was super hype in this conference for about 4 seconds when I saw Atlas, when they showed Shin Megami Tensei. And then I remembered the last time they did that, they announced Shin Megami Tensei versus Fire Emblem, spent 3 years making it, and it became Tokyo Mirage sessions. And don't get me wrong, that game's awesome. But when you tell me a game is just starting development, I don't expect it for at least 3 years. And last time you teased a nice, dark Shin Megami Tensei world, and you gave me J-pop idols. So I'll be more than happy to get hyped for that in like 3 years. They brought out Nagoshi from Sega, the man behind Monkey Ball, the man behind Yakuza, Binary Domain, a legend at Sega who was like, yeah, we're gonna make games for this thing, I guess. We're gonna look into it and it could be cool, but it showed nothing. Now, Sega did announce afterwards that they are bringing Puyo Puyo Tetris to the Switch and the PS4 localized in this country. That's awesome. But don't bring somebody out on stage to essentially say nothing. Then you had Todd Howard saying, hey, guess what? Remember how we had the Skyrim thing in that first trailer and said, oh, wait, actually, no, we're not, because they wanted you to buy that game on the PS4 and the Xbox in the remastered, and now officially? Oh, yeah, we are. I hate that. Don't do that. I'm not sure why they flew out a guy from EA to announce FIFA when they could have just shown a trailer. And another bizarre highlight, they brought out Suda51, who I'm a huge fan of, to say, hey, we're going to make a game with Travis Touchdown. And they showed a piece of concept art, and that was it. The translator lost his mind, could not translate whatever the hell he was saying, could not translate it. They won't confirm or deny whether or not it is No More Heroes 3, but Suda has said he is writing and directing. That's the first time in like a decade, so I can at least get excited for that. Reaction number 5. Going back to the controller for a second, it has a share button. And at launch, that share button will do screenshots, and they don't have the video portion of that share button ready yet.
But Attack Slug, isn't Nintendo the most notoriously ass-backwards company when it comes to YouTube and Content ID and monetization? Why would they put a share button for video on their controller?
How else are they going to make a profit on this thing, I guess? Get all those pennies from everybody using that share button to upload videos onto YouTube. They already auto-flag just about everything, so here's just yet another revenue stream. Alright, how do I even wrap this up? I stayed up until 2 in the morning. I pre-ordered this system. I didn't pre-order any games. Their launch lineup is pretty much abysmal outside of Zelda, and thank God Zelda is making it for launch, but Zelda, also available on the Wii U. I can't believe they have the audacity to charge for online multiplayer. And they totally announced Splatoon 2. I guess I missed here in my notes here. That game is official, but the original, as much as I enjoyed it, I rented it, I got what I wanted out of it, and I sent it back to GameFly. If this sequel obviously is going to need their paid online service, and if it doesn't have any kind of a significant single-player component, that online is going to be a ghost town. I don't know what they're doing outside of being Nintendo. And maybe the first-party games they have in the pipeline will be enough to carry this system like it carried the Wii U limping across the finish line. But the last 24 hours have not left me with any confidence that Nintendo has any idea of what they want to be in the marketplace. And I know, people have been preaching doom and gloom for Nintendo pretty much since the N64. But the Wii U was an unequivocal flop. Can they survive 2 flops in a row? But hey, Zelda looks amazing. I don't know. This is a weird first video for this channel, but I wanted to sit here and talk about the Switch for a little bit. As much as Nintendo has screwed up kind of time and time again, they're still Nintendo. They still get the benefit of the doubt for announcements because they've literally changed the face of video games multiple times. But you know, expect the usual unboxing video and content and whatnot early March, cause I'll be there on launch. That's kind of what I do. I'm Attack Slug, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, right here on this channel. Switch! Ice cubes, though.